What's up, everyone? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest behind the bar. There's no bar. I mean, I have the volumes, and I don't really have a place to set them up for Yona of the Dawn, also known as Akatsuki no Yona. This will be chapter 181 review. Unfortunately, this is Griever, your host, but and I have the same layout thing. Unfortunately, right now my bar is in shambles. I plan to take some pictures and showcase them here, but I'm sure you guys don't really care about that right now. Suffice it to say, I tore down the bar ceiling last night and stuff. So right now the bar is in such shambles. There's just the lighting's gone. I ripped out the lighting and stuff, so it would just be a pain in the ass to try to record down there for the next couple of weeks. So thankfully, One Piece was on break, and Seven Deadly Sins is also on break this week as well. So by the time the next One Piece review comes out, I should be able to get something going on, if nothing else, for Back Behind the Bar. But I didn't want to wait too long to do Yona of the Dawn, chapter 181. Now, I'm a little irritated, actually. I know that my review is a day or two late, but in all honesty, I was waiting for this. I've been waiting and checking my regular sites constantly for this chapter to drop, and I refreshed the page. I know for a fact that I was refreshing that page the night that it was released. All of a sudden, I wake up in the morning, and it's been released. It's actually been released before a chapter that was released previously. Like, if you guys understand what I'm saying, like, the Boruto chapter and some other stuff came out, and I saw them. And there was nothing else in that list. And I kept refreshing the page, but that's all I saw. Then all of a sudden, I wake up in the morning, and I refresh the page again, and all of a sudden, Akatsuki no Yona 181 is released before the Boruto and the other chapter, like the Attack on Titan and stuff, that was dropped this week. And I'm like, that was not there. That was not there. I don't know what coding bullshittery they pulled on me, but that was not there. So, anyways, 181 a chapter. This chapter is not going to be as in-depth as some other reviews and stuff, because we're going off the back of what we already talked about in the last chapter review, right? This whole Suwon is betrothed to Yona, or that's what the people believe. She's sitting in the queen chair. This is all the advisor. This is all Kisok and his entire idea of what will benefit them and stuff. And Juntai, the Earth Tribe general, of course, is standing there beside Lily. Lily's going, what is going on? And the general is saying, this is actually a very, very smart move on his part. Gotta hand it to him. Not only is the martial arts tournament something that the approval rating, like, it enlightens the people. They get hyped. It's like a festival. They get excited. It's like Christmas for them, right? It's a festival. It's a fun time. Not only that, he went off on the back of that hype and further on said, here's the dragons, here's Princess Yona returned, and they're betrothed to the current king. Boom, just raise that morale boost from a 10 to a 100 very, very fast. So it's definitely a good strategy, but of course we don't like that. Lily has her own little monologue about that, saying, like, she's in love with Hawk. I know this. This isn't, like, Yona still deserves to be happy. I know this alliance was the best thing for her at the time, but this isn't what it was about. This isn't fair to her, blah, blah, blah. Then we jump over to the dragons in the tent awaiting to do the martial arts tournament. So we're not wasting any time. They are definitely starting the martial arts tournament this chapter. So I did say that. I said that the pacing of this will probably go quite quickly, because there's going to be a wrench thrown into this somehow, whether during the tournament or during the festival after the tournament. I assume they celebrate a festival afterwards, after the matches are done. It's like, hey, it's all bustling and that kind of stuff, right? So this is very interesting, though, because after we see the dragons, it's actually Jeha who says, okay, this is getting a little lively. This is getting a little much. Zeno saying the same thing. Like, Zeno's being very mature now, not pretending to be the... Zeno will say this, because Zeno, no, he's playing the part, because he says, well, what will you do if this is the case? They're like, yeah, they're not actually betrothed, but this is the misunderstanding that the crowd believes. We see that Keisha has, big hand, like, ready to murder everybody. And Jeha's like, yeah, well, we will not allow that to happen. And Zeno goes, yeah, what are you going to do if it is the case? He goes, simple. I'm going to grab her and you and everybody else, and we're going to run away. I'm going to kidnap everybody, and we're going to go. And I'm like, yeah, like, who's really going to stop them? Like, in all honesty, in the dead of night, they pull some bullshittery. I mean, with the Thunder Beast and Zeno and Jeha, like, nobody's going to be able to actually stop them. You know, they would wait for the opportune time, wait for when, like, the general of the Earth tribe is not there, right? So that their fighting forces weaken, and all you have to deal with is Jodo and Sun Quan against 4 dragons and Hawk. Hawk can take on this whole place himself. So it's not really a big deal from my perspective. But Zeno does bring up a very big reality check that it says, you know, I think we've gotten a little too famous to just disappear into the night anymore. And he's not wrong. They would have to run very far away. And remember, they can't go much further. They need to stay within the Coco Kingdom's borders. Like on the borders, okay, but they basically have to run and hide. Not that this kingdom is a very small kingdom by any measure, but if the entire country was looking for you, I mean, you know, like there isn't anybody anymore that wouldn't recognize Yona and the dragons at this point anymore. They've run out of quite a few of their hiding holes, so that is an issue. Though they all agree, there's a twofold thing to this. They all agree that if it's for Yona and her happiness, I don't care. We'll run from the heavens back to earth and back again. You know, that doesn't matter. But Jeha says we've all felt it though. We're all here like that. This Hyrule Castle being here is like a cradle for the dragons. We are very at ease. Our senses are dulled. We can't, like, I'm paraphrasing here, but their senses are dulled. They're not on alert. They can't help but feel relaxed, so they can't stay on guard like they should be to suspect anything. It's like, as Jeha explains it, it's like a cradle. Like, it's like being wrapped in your mother's arms of safety as a child. That's what Hyrule Castle feels like for these dragons. Zeno might be the least affected, because remember, he was the original. He was way back when. This might not have any true hold on him, and I still hold out for him to go down to that shrine that seems to be important. The Hyrule Shrine under the throne room. I feel like there's something going to go down there with Zeno especially. But that being said, they all get ready for their matches nonetheless. We see, we jump over to Hawk and stuff because Jeha is thinking about Hawk. It's a transition over to him and Yon. Hawk is I mean, he's pissed about the situation, but he understands that we kind of knew something like this was going to happen. We knew the advisor would get his way and we'd be pushed into situations and we would be used as tools to advance the popularity, to the approval, to the morale. We knew we'd be used this way. It sucks, but we knew it when we took this alliance and we all agreed to do it. So Hawk's kind of sitting there frustrated, but level-headed about it, right? Yon's more frustrated than he is. After this, we jump over to the general, and here's where both generals who are going to be facing both Kija and Jeha is going to be the general of the Earth Tribe, Juntai, and of course Judo, who is the general of the Sky Tribe. They're going to face each other, and of course Juntai is not happy about finding out that he's got to throw the matches. I mean, this is something that was talked about in the previous chapter, but it's not like I guess they weren't fully informed, or at least General Juntai was not informed that he was going to have to pull his punches and stuff. We're going to get into a bit of the psychological aspects of that, especially for heavy, honorable warriors such as Jodo or Juntai, because that is that's a big step. Hawk actually is the one who talks about it and stuff, but we'll get that in this next half of the review. Now, as I said, General Juntai is not a big fan of being made an actor of, and he even brings this up with Jodo and says, "Are you okay with just being an actor? Like this is not really our thing," sort of idea. But they say, like, he defends Kisok and stuff, and we can see that Juntai is not a huge fan of that advisor scheme. It's like, he's starting to get a pretty big head on his shoulders, isn't he? Like, this is not the guy that I chose to follow. I follow Sun Quan, but I didn't choose to sign up to be one of his pawns, sort of idea. You're starting to feel that tension from him. Either way, the matches do start, and it's Kija versus Jodo and stuff, and Kija right off the bat, like, everyone's like, oh wow, the dragons are here, and oh wow, the generals are here, the trump cards and stuff, and they start the matches. The matches are going on at the same time, so they're trying to draw in the biggest crowd, that kind of a deal, right? So it does make sense from a political standpoint. Like, you're trying to draw in the most crowd. What do? You use all the tools at your disposal. This is where we see Keisha is just going off right off the bat. Just claw, like we met in Sen, now let's fight. Boom, And Jodo is kind of like, I thought we were supposed to start off with light fighting, like this is a mock battle, blah, 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 blah. Like he's trying to play the game. Keisha ain't having none of it. And he's going for the win. And Jodo is kind of like, shit, I have to, like, I thought we were going to, like, build some tension, do some stuff, and now I have to, like, really try, otherwise it'll show how weak I really am, and he can't, his pride as a warrior is coming up a little bit, and he's like, I can't just lose in the first 5 seconds. Then we have General Juntai and Jeha talking, and they're actually on pretty good terms, it seems. It's like, hey, are you unarmed? He's like, yeah, they wouldn't give me any weapon. He's like, what? Hey, you, give the dragon a weapon. What are you talking about? I'm not fighting somebody unarmed. And they're like, no, that's forbidden. The dragons with their powers don't need weapons. And Jay was like, I don't think, I mean, we still kind of do. Like, we don't just depend on our dragon powers. We still know how to fight with weapons, but whatever. And so Juntai says, it doesn't really matter, man, does it? I mean, this is a mock fight. We'll play it out and we'll show off our powers. It's fine. Juntai's like, glad you understand, kind of. Like, you can feel that kind of apologetic, like, sorry about this sort of idea. I'm not a huge fan of it either. So he draws his sword, and Hawk even notices that he's not actually swinging seriously. He goes, Jeha might, if he went all out, he might actually end up killing the general, which is surprising from Hawk because Juntai is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, current general in the Coco and Kingdom. He is, I think, stronger than Judo, and except for Mundok, I'd go with Juntai. Juntai, the Earth Tribe General, is probably the strongest warrior they currently have outside of Mundok. So that's just my personal opinion, but what do you guys think? So I'm surprised that Hawk said that, but that could just be a translation thing, saying that either one of them, if either one of them was fighting really seriously, they could both go for the kill, but neither one is. He's not swinging seriously. Jeha's not actually trying to hit him seriously. None of them are actually attacking. But we also see a fun little, before that piece, we do see a fun little interaction, being like, oh, General, I was a pirate in Awa, and, like, you were very popular there. And he's like, oh, really? The fishing industry is doing really well since all that incident. And he goes, oh, really? That's great to hear. There's some of my buddies and stuff. And Jodo's looking over going, would you guys focus, for God's sakes? And he's like, stop having, like, a pleasant conversation. They're like, sorry, we have to do this. Like, neither one of them, like, they're just playing the parts. They don't really want to do it. And this is where, as I said, I jumped ahead a bit, but this is where Hawk is kind of noticing the trend. Like, the 5 tribes have gotten, like, extremely docile. It was a problem that Juntai had, that the tribes have gotten too relaxed, too docile. No wars to fight, no battles to be fought. It's not a good thing being too relaxed as far as a military leader is expected to be. So, and Juntai is a military leader. He might be the Earth Tribe General, but General carries weight with it, not just as a leader of the people, but as the military might. So it is something to really register with him. Hawk does notice that, like, you both would go this far for him, for you two to basically throw away your pride as warriors and play this little charade, like this charade, and do this whole, playing the part and doing all this. This isn't like either one of them. Like, it's uncharacteristic. Like, you'd go this far for him, and then Hawk thinks about like Kisok and his plans and his schemes, and he just goes, so is this what it's to be? Is this what it's to be? Like, both the princess and the dragons and myself, we all need to suffer this humiliation. Is it going to end with, basically, by the sounds of it, Hawk is wondering, is it going to end here, or is the humiliation and the embarrassment and the disrespect, is this going to keep playing out? Are we just going to be that bastard's pawns, the dragons and the princess, like, from here on out? And you see Hawk's face at the end, and he's got no time for this. He's just like, this might have been a bad idea. But once again, that's the end of the chapter, guys. So, not a huge long review as per usual, because usually with these monthly releases you have 40 odd pages. There's a lot to unpack. This one was more straightforward and simple. There was more stuff we could have talked about, but that's the bare bones. That's the simplistic version of the important factors that went on in this chapter. And we've already talked about the other stuff, but I'm still holding out for something I mentioned, I think, 2 or 3 chapter reviews ago, if you guys remember. And it's about they have a plan. This alliance is not their end game. Hawk and Yona and the dragons have a plan to infiltrate, figure something out. They're there for a reason, whether they thought well, for now, we'll bide our time. We're behind enemy lines, but maybe that's the best place for us to gather intel to figure out what we really should do. We don't know enough about Su Wan's true intentions, the true plans, what he intends to do, and if we should agree with it or go along with it. If it's a good thing for the country, maybe this is the best idea. It's like a win with a, it's not a double-edged sword, but it's like a win with a gamble. Not a win-win, not a win-lose, but a win-gamble. Like, at the very least, they'll find out enough intel. This is the only place they're going to get enough information about the intentions of Su Wan and the future of this kingdom. If they don't agree with it, then they can take their party, leave at any time, I think is their intention, and then they can go against what he's doing, and they can go back to be people for the people, Robin Hood-esque people. If not, and they do agree, then they're already there. They're already on the side, and they can lend their support in the way they see fit. Unfortunately, I don't think they expected as such boom, 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 heavy-hitting schemes right in the first 2 days. I don't think they expected it to go quite this way. It wasn't supposed to go down like this. They'd bide their time a little more with them. Let them pretend they had their freedom a little more. But clearly they're on the ball like, nope, you're part of an alliance, do what we say, boom, boom, boom. I don't think this was expected by Hawk or Yona or the Dragons. It's moving a little too fast. And as we see, Jaeha's intentions halfway through the chapter is, if push comes to shove, I'm taking everybody in. We're getting out of here anyway. So I think my theory that they had a plan initially, or at least a loosely laid one, that let's make the best of the situation. At the very least, let's gather intel and see what we can find out for a few weeks before we say, nope, we're not part of this and leave. That might have been a very loosely laid plan. But what do you guys think of this theory? As I said, I brought it up before. I think Jaeha kind of confirms my theory about what I said, that they did have this plan to gather intel and to make the best of a bad situation, but I think it has gone a little awry. It hasn't gone as they predicted or intended. But anyways, guys, that's the end of the chapter, end of the review. Sorry about not being behind the bar. This is more behind the computer desk review, but we'll be back hopefully behind the bar next week. So what did you guys think of the chapter? Also, one quick note, it says that 182 will be continued at 10/19. So I'm taking that as month day. So is that going to come out October 19th? Like literally like next week or the week after? Because that's fast. Like, this is a monthly release. Like, maybe because I feel like this took longer. Like, this wasn't just like 3.5 weeks. Like, this one was like 5 weeks or something between reviews. I could be wrong, but it felt like this was a long wait. So maybe there was a break or something. They took a week break or something and that extended it. And now they're releasing like a double chapter or something. Either way, if that's correct, that'll be really exciting to have a chapter so soon, because I love this series. I've read it 3 or 4 times, and I hate being caught up with a monthly release because you wait so long. So, but that being said, guys, this has been Griever. Like, subscribe, comment as always. It's always really appreciated, of course. Hit that bell notification if you want to know when I drop a video. And as always, drink responsibly. As you know, I'm not behind the bar, but I'm behind the computer desk. Beer, same thing. It's Saturday. Anyways, also quick shout out, happy Thanksgiving tomorrow for all the Canadians out there. Of course, this is Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend, long weekend and all that fun jazz. So if you didn't notice the little thing down in the corner there, just wanted to say that. So happy Thanksgiving, Canadian, for everybody. Lots of football tomorrow and all that fun jazz. So anyway, enjoy your guys' non-Canadian Thanksgivings, your just normal weekends. And if you are Canadian, enjoy your Thanksgiving however you choose to celebrate it. So that being said, guys, drink responsibly. Peace out.